Share a little bit about, how you're involved with this group. What are your goals of HGP?
I'm a motivational speaker as well as a loan officer. And so, financial literacy has always been a huge priority for me. And, over the years, I've started to realize the power of community, the power of being able to come together with people and pool resources, And so, I just started to kind of bounce some ideas off with family members. Kyrie was really excited. He jumped on board first, and things started to snowball after that. So I'll turn it over to Kyrie.
Okay, with HGP, I saw the vision from day one. My Uncle Lance came to me with the opportunity to invest. I said, heck yeah. I was so excited that I just jumped, right away. So I just wanted to, just to get, my sister Brittany, and my cousin Jordan. I wanted to get them involved because I saw the vision from day one. I know HGP is going to be great. It's going to be big. I know it. Like, I just know it. So that's why I was just super excited to, get involved. Uncle Lance presented me with the opportunity.
I think it was so important that us as a family, we do things together, we grow together, and it was just a wonderful opportunity. When Uncle Lance first brought it to us, I was like, sure, let's do it. Let's just jump right in. Let's not think about it. Let's just do it. And I'm glad I did. And I think financial freedom really is the goal.
To be honest, I was scared just because it was like, I don't know anything about real estate. I don't know anything about investing. I don't know anything about, getting into homes that are like you're trying to flip or whatever. So for me, more than anything, it was just like, I'm gonna listen more and talk less. So, just trying to keep my ears open and understand and ask questions when I am confused and, be as present as I can be as like we're taking these next couple of steps, just trying to learn so that I can then be comfortable when Uncle Lance tells me about a project and I understand all the lingo and all the terms he's using. And I'm like, yeah, 20,000. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Like, so I can be ready. I can have that, like I can be ready and I can do that. So I love that my family's just trying to teach us the ropes, including you, Uncle Marlon, talking to us and helping us out here and there by putting us on the podcast as well,
Absolutely.
For sure.
It just shows that our family is one in a million because not a lot of people do stuff like this.
For sure.
Very grateful for family.
Absolutely.
Education is a huge piece to what we're building here. In fact, we have an organized structure where we meet every week. On every Wednesday night, we meet for 1 hour just to kind of talk about insights and our goals, and we set goals. And one of the big things is we hold each other accountable. Accountability is huge, right? And also, I want to make a point that yes, finance is a big issue that we tackle, but also two more issues that we really dive into are relationships and our health. Which is all interrelated, So what we're building here is just a great network of accountability, support, encouragement on a weekly basis. Because, as a motivational speaker, I know that, a one-time presentation or a one-time webinar is not enough to make lasting change. There has to be that momentum. There has to be that consistent weekly support. And so that's what we aim to do with HGP.
It's so phenomenal what you guys are doing. And so, one of the great things I think that also tie you together is your strong faith. And so I'd love for you guys to share a little bit about how this interplays with this group and how does this really build the foundation of your wealth as you go forward and grow this group.
So I'm gonna say this. Number one, we believe in God so much in this family. Like, God is the number one. We put him on the forefront of everything because we know nothing is possible without God. So we have to always remember that, because at the end of the day, you can get cocky when money start coming in and things start coming up. And so the thing is to remember God, because he can give it to you, but he also can take everything away. So just remembering him and to keep things together. Because just be real, families, we go through problems, but the thing is about talking through our problems. So you're having these weekly, check-ins every Wednesday at 7 p.m. just to making sure everybody, head is clear. Like Uncle Lance was saying, we also relationships, health, all that stuff, because it's not all about the money, it's about your health, because you gotta know what to do when you get the money, the things to invest in. So we come to the table every Wednesday and talk about those things, and that's what makes us, different, because we talk about these things. A lot of families are not talking about stuff like this and just remembering God, because without Him, like I said, we are nothing. So that's the key ingredient.
We're very intentional about making sure that we put God at the forefront of everything that we do, even with our meetings. So every meeting, we start with an opening prayer and we end with a closing prayer. And we want to make sure that we keep that as our main focus. And also too, what we're doing here, we want everything to have a structure to it, so that the future generations can copy our patterns, Because you know about habits, right? Habits are so powerful. And so we want to, in our family, create these positive habits, because, as the next generation grows up, even, from like toddlers, what I'm saying? If they can see us doing this on a consistent basis, then, those habits will be easier to be adopted into their lives.
I know that you guys are very intentional, and even with HGP, that's an acronym. Would you please share what that stands for? Because I think that our listeners would really get the essence and the substance of what this initiative, what your mission, what your movement is. So please share. What is HGP?
Okay, so HGP stands. H stands for humble. The G stands for grateful. The P stands for prayerful. And so when you think about that, it's just so deep, because the thing is, we're humble for every blessing we receive. We even grateful, and we got to pray to receive the blessings, and also put the work in, because faith without works is dead. So we always follow that, the motto of, just being humble, grateful, and prayerful.
So as far as the structure of HGP, how are you leveraging one another's strengths? I mean, do you have different positions, different duties, responsibilities? Can you talk to us about that?
With our meetings, our weekly meetings, everyone has a role, right? And a lot of it is based on the personality of the person, right? So, I'm a type of person, accountants and everything. I'm very kind of like, organized. And so I'm the one that's the agenda maker, right? So I'm the one that is charged with writing out the agenda, right? And now Brittany, I mean, she's like, very outgoing, the personality and everything, right? And sense of humor. I mean, like, this girl is funny, And so, she's the facilitator, right? So she's doing the facilitator. And then I'll let Jordana and Irene talk.
Yes, and I'm the note taker. I'm the typer of the group, but I enjoy my role, take it with pride.
Now, keep in mind, Jordana, her regular job is as a teacher.
Yes, I am.
So that really relates well, She's a Spanish teacher at a middle school.
I am, so I love things being organized and color coded and easily able to be found. So I really enjoy my role.
Yeah, I'm the person basically that's gonna follow up with you. So when we have our meetings, me, I'm like a sergeant. So I gotta make sure you're doing your job. And so once we finish our meetings, so I'm gonna give you like a day or so to process everything to make sure you're doing it. And I'm gonna come in and did y'all do this? Did y'all do that? So sometimes I could be, annoying, but I gotta make sure we all doing our job. It's about discipline, and I want to make sure everybody does their job, because HGP, man, this is serious business. This is no joke. So I know, we're going to be great, and this whole, establishment, the family going to be great. So I just want to make sure everybody's on point, not just me, everybody.
He is so funny. We have a group chat between the three of us, and he sends voice memos like, okay, Brittany, you said you was gonna call the credit card company. Like, did you call them? Do it, Brittany. Do it today, Brittany. Do it today. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And he's very serious and report back to me once you're done. It's accountability. Accountability.
That's all. Nobody could fall because we need each other's crutches.
Right. For sure.
Yeah, I really love that each of you have found your own talents, right? And then integrated them into the group to enhance everybody else's experience as a whole. And that's really phenomenal. Listeners, what I really want you to take away from that is, of course, the Smith family is incredibly blessed to be able to have this dynamic and have, this high level understanding of where they want to grow to. But I also want to encourage you that if you don't necessarily have that within your own family, you can also go out and find other people. Maybe it's in your church. Maybe there's other people that have skill sets that maybe you don't necessarily have that you can connect with. Maybe there's real estate investment groups that you can go out and find people with common values and create your own.
One of my favorite books of all time is Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. And the main message of that book is about financial freedom. And he talks about how you become financially free when your passive income exceeds your cost of living. And so that really touched me, right? And I think that's and when I think about the future, I think about all of us being financially free. Every single family member, but not only just our family, but also those in our community. You know what I'm saying? Everyone in our sphere of influence being financially free or on the path to financial freedom. And then more specifically, what I envision is a portfolio of rental properties, right? So right now we're at the stage where we're just private money lending with house flippers, right? But eventually, our vision is to get to the level where we are actually doing our own, house flips and holding the property, turning them into rentals, maybe long-term rentals or Airbnb, maybe getting the property management. But, my thing is that passive income, right? Passive income through real estate, through rental properties, where we don't have to work, but we're choosing to work,
I just want to give a shout out to my grandma, because I feel like she was the one that growing up always told us, get your education, leave a legacy, leave a mark on this world, like Uncle Mama said. She gave us the freedom to go out and be ourselves, but she was like, make sure that you're educated, make sure that what's going on around you, make sure you save your money, she never wanted us to buy her anything for Christmas, like save your money, everything was about saving money. And she would always, we would have dinner every night, and she would just tell us, you're smart. Like she would always tell me, Brittany, you're too smart for your own good, whatever. Like you're so smart, like you can do whatever you want to do. And she put that power in me and all of us, and as the matriarch of the family, she really put that power in us to go out and make risk and do things like this. And it's all because of her. So I think that going back to, I'm blessed to have such a great family. I guess I would say that. And how Jordana said before, if you don't have that, just keep yourself surrounded by just good people or like-minded people. But I really wanted to take the time out and just shout her out, because she's the matriarch that brought us all together and continues to bring us all together.
I feel overwhelmed gratitude, just listening to my nephew and my nieces, and as Brittany said, we are a very blessed family, and it reminds me of the Bible verse that says, "To whom much is given, much is required." And I think about that because I think about how this didn't start with our generation, right? I mean, even our my parents, my grandparents' generation, college educated and promoted education and everything. And so I was thinking about, the one thing I'd like to leave with the audience is realize that, we all are here for a reason, right? Life is very short. We're here for just a very short period of time. We're here for a purpose. God gives us gifts. It's a different set of gifts for each person. But, we have that responsibility to take what we've been given and to expand it, right? For God's glory, to help others, And so, and I think about the concept of legacy, and I'm listening to my nieces, and I'm just thinking, I wonder what, the future generations of our family are going to be. When we're not even here and they're having these meetings, hopefully they're continuing on the legacy, having these meetings, and I guess giving a toast to us, It's just amazing to just think about that. And I heard this saying once that, life is a relay race. We are handed a baton from the generations that came before us, and we hand off a baton to the generations that come after us. And I think the goal of each family is for each generation to take it to a higher level, than the previous generation, right? To whom much is given, much is required. Let's always be humble, be grateful, be prayerful, and just realize that we're here for a purpose, and we're here for a short time. And let's just stay focused on completing the mission that God has put us here to complete.
I see you guys doing some real estate deals. Talk to us a little bit about real estate and how this is playing into the overall group, because I know you guys are building a blueprint for generational wealth, and I love real estate. I mean, so that's a great tool, I think. Talk to us a little bit about that and how that's playing into the overall big plan.
Sure. Well, okay, so I started off because I worked as an auditor for the federal government after college for 6 years, and I resigned to go full time into educational consulting and everything. But just through different real estate groups, I learned about this thing called the self-directed IRA. And it really changed my life, because I learned that I could take my TSP, the thrift savings plan, which is the retirement account for the federal government. I could take my TSP and roll it into a self-directed IRA that allows me to invest retirement money into real estate. And so I started doing that. So I became a private lender for house flippers, right? So where I would loan money to house flippers. And so, with that, just getting that experience, I started to realize that, some house flippers, they don't even want to deal with you if you're not coming with a minimum investment of a high amount, right? So I started to realize that, okay, well, collectively, if I came together, because like a normal person that only has maybe, a few $100s or a few $1,000s, often would not be able to get the type of opportunities in real estate in terms of private lending. But I realized that if we pulled our money together, then we'd be able to leverage that and be able to get opportunities. And so linked up with Kyrie, and what we started to do is with house flippers, we started to require them to create opportunities for other family members to invest. So for example, we invested in one of our most recent deals. It was a total of 30,000. And so I came in with 22,000, Kyrie came in with 7,000, and Brittany and Jordana came in each with 500, which was powerful because, 500 alone, you wouldn't be able to get that opportunity. But, coming together, you're able to, and the interest is 15% interest, So yeah, it's just, the leverage is just so powerful.
Absolutely.
And it was amazing for us, to just get our feet wet. I think, Jordana did have her concerns, and I think it was just good to, okay, this is a low amount, let's see what happens, and continue from there. So I think it was a good way to start, and I'm just really happy that we started. Yeah, for sure.
And I want to add too, I'm 23, so $500 to me is a lot of money, I'm like, that's a lot. So it's just having people around me who is like, I trust you, I know you'll never guide me wrong. Like my Uncle Marlon, Kyrie, Uncle Lance, just having them, and they're teaching us the way, because if they wanted to, they could be stingy and say, figure it out on your YouTube it, but they sit here with us trying to break everything down, just like what Uncle Lance explained to, what did you say, TGP?
TSP.
And I'm sitting here like, all right, what does that mean? I'm here trying to break that down until I was like, okay, there we go. But they really take the time to break everything down to us, so that eventually $500 is like, yeah, okay, one of those type of situations.
And I think too, piggying back on that, we talked earlier about faith, and it's of course we all have a strong faith in God, but for me personally, I have faith in these people. So for me, it was, of course, when Kyrie came to me and was just have faith in your big brother, of course, what I'm saying? Because I know how Jordana said, he wouldn't steer me wrong. So, of course, God is the forefront, but I also have faith in these people in the room. I trust them with what I got. So if it was my last penny, for sure, because I know that it's going to come back to me tenfold because of God and them.
Wow, that's good. And for our listeners, I think what you're hearing is the fact that who's in your inner circle. You know, that's one of the things I think with HGP, you're hearing the power of relationships and trust, right? I mean, here we heard Jordana talk about, you know, she was afraid, you know, there was fear because she didn't know, right? You know, anything that's new, yeah, there's that uneasiness. But what you're hearing is that, you know, her surrounding herself with individuals who she knows have her best interest in mind, it makes it so much more comfortable.
One thing that we have to be careful of is that whole thing about the trust fund baby, right? There's a lot of stereotypes about trust fund babies. And I mean, like with what we're building, you know, our vision is that our future generations, you know, of our family will come into serious wealth. But that's why it's so important that we emphasize the family values, that being humble, being grateful, being prayerful, you know, being of service, so that they don't fall into the typical trust fund baby mindset, you know?